Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii.
Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here.
Why is this happening?
Calling from the big island of Hawaii. Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here.
Why is this happening?
Calling from the big island of Hawaii.
Sorry about that, people. Seems like somebody's out to get me every time I go to start a show. One of my most important shows, I had Sean David Martin on, and man, they did a number to everything: the music, the sound, my voice. Uh, all right, my co-host Tina Bird is in the hospital with her mom right now, so she's not going to be on today. She's been going through so much stuff. She's always in the hospital for herself and for her mom now, but hopefully she'll be all right by next week. Her book has become a top seller around the world. I'll show you the picture real fast. It's out now. All right, it's called The Bonded, and it's truth about alien abduction. It's her story. Not a long book. It's only about 100 pages, and it's big paged, so it's easy to read. But it'll give you all the important facts you should know if you care about the UFO world and all the lies out there to find the truth, what's going on. All right, I hope you saw the title. They are taking down the word UFO and added the other word. Now, that word, obviously, UAP, uh, plural is S, but what it is changing a substance called UFO, meaning a ship, to something that means anything. It could mean a bolt of lightning, it could be static, it could be a windstorm, sunstorm, solar flares, uh, radiation, you name it. Anything except what it truly is a UFO. Meaning they're going to take away the idea of what really a UFO is and feed people all this false information to actually cover up what's going on. It's been brought into Congress, and that's another ridiculous story going on right now. We got two people. Well, one I'm going to start with first. Stephen Greer claims he started the whole UFO exposure thing, which he didn't. But when I was lecturing from 96 to 2002 with Sergeant 18, we were showing more pictures and videos and chips and everything than anybody else in the United States. All right, during that time frame, Stephen Greer was like in the background. Somewhere he came up with money. I had a friend that did complete research on him, found out uh, all the stories he tells are pretty much stories. They tried to find where the hospitals he worked at, what he actually did there, and things like that. And they couldn't find any information about any of it. So, again, He's an implant by who knows, but what is he trying to tell the people in the UFO world? That all aliens are good, that we need to talk to them. He's taking people out at nighttime and shining lights at the sky, going into meditation, trying to talk to aliens. Well, because of him, other people are doing it. I mean, there's a temple in the Tibetan mountains that actually are they're all in a circle chanting and trying to talk to aliens. And they said they got information about an event that happened. Uh, to talk to an alien to get that, I mean, when Billy Myers came out a long time ago in the 50s, he came out with pictures and videos of UFOs that he shot over his house and claimed he worked with the aliens inside it, called them the Pleiadians. He was given 100 prophecies from the alien race he worked with, and he distributed them around the world to every country. About 90% of them came true. Right? Prophecies are useless, people. If you know something's going to happen and can't do anything, now, and I'll give you an example. Sergeant 18, the person I work with, predicted about 9/11. Sean David Martin, a good friend of mine, predicted it in great detail 1 year before it happened. But neither one of them was standing in front of the building saying, don't go in it or something's going to happen or any of that during the time that it actually happened. Prophecies are only important if you change them. I mean, if you believe in Sodom and Gomorrah, if you believe in Noah's Ark, when they were told to do something to change reality, it's important. But if I'm going to tell you a train's going to crash tomorrow, so what? Can you stop it? Now, I did predict this. I watched the earthquake chart for the past 25 years in detail. Now, I know you heard Japan had a super giant earthquake and tsunami. It was 7.4 or 5, depending who you listen to or pull up. Did a lot of damage. 30 people are dead so far. But again, people, I said for the past 3 months, with what's happening with the earthquake chart, there's five to eight a day, up to 5.2, 5.3, 5.6. But I said this only brings a major disaster to happen. There'll be a super major earthquake within 6 months. And I said that over and over. All right. And I did that 3 times in the past 5 years. But there's a lot of reasons for it happening, which government won't talk about, people won't talk about, scientists avoid talking about it. So now, when we talk about UFOs, we're talking about an alien race. Many different alien races are out there. How many work with the United States, Japan, Russia, Germany? Well, when I was in the lecturing world, in the UFO world many years ago, from 96 to 2002, a person named, let me see who I wanted to talk about first. Oh man, not Fred Bell. Fred Bell was involved greatly, and he was responsible for a lot of information. His book is the second most important book to read in the UFO world. But Bob Dean worked for the government, worked in the army, worked secret, and he did work with alien races. He said 27 alien races. All right, Putin came out months before Trump was elected and said the same thing, that they're working with 27 alien races. But 2 alien races want to destroy the planet. How would they know that? Something UFO people can't talk about, don't talk about, is the wars we actually had and have. We had 3 major wars in space, and we had 3 major wars on planet Earth. And they can't talk about that. Stephen Greer is up in Cloud 9 telling stories about good aliens, and they want to talk to us. They've been here for thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. They took out every race that came here, removed them, and guess what? We're the race that's left here now for who knows how long. But they need us for a reason, and it's not to mine gold for them. Then you got the story of the Anunnaki and they created us, which is another lie, twisted, completely fabricated. People, do you want the truth or not? You can listen to these people in the UFO world. Watch Ancient Aliens. It's been on 15 years. Do you believe that? And guess what? They still talk about pyramids the same exact way they did 15 years ago. Whoa, ancient alien people believe that. Believe that. Okay, belief is useless. And then again, when scientists come out and say something, it's also useless. The truth they bring out is twisted. All right. Now, when they talked about the Big Bang, they cannot prove that. The black hole, they cannot prove that. But if you know anything about what's really going on, CERN was a big base between three countries, and they were trying to create a black hole, crashing two atoms together. They said they did a while ago, but it was small. So how has it become big? All right, but they said they did. But recently they had to close it down because they had an eruption inside the unit. They're not saying why or how, and who knows what they're really doing yet. Nobody's proving anything about it. What's really happening from the eruption? Realize that has the ability, and this is no lie, to create a magnetic field stronger than planet Earth. And I'm serious about that. So when they turned it on, what were they actually doing? And what do, and you never will. There's a lot of reasons why. Who controls the planet? Who controls countries? Who controls everything that's happening? Putin? Trump? Obama? Of course not. They think they do. They think they're powerful and all these other words. But what's going to happen in the next 7 years? Okay, it's going down to 6 years already as of the new year. But I say you're going to see it in 2 to 3 years. The world population cut in half. Minimum. All right? Who are they going to take out first? The poor, old people, and sick people. Then middle class people that they don't need. Rich people? Of course not. The world will remain with them because that's who's paying everything that's going on. Now, things you should think about that they don't talk about. That's real. I don't make anything up, people. The underground bases, the underground cities that are all across the United States. Why don't you hear one word about it? Jesse Ventura came out how many years ago and exposed it. They didn't kill him, and I'm surprised they let the show go on TV. But they took his show off 2.5 years later, in right when he started doing a new series. But he's not in the United States. He's hiding out in Mexico. He said he would come back in if he was going to become vice president. But he doesn't even go through customs because he's got metal bars in him and they detain him and they do all kinds of things to him when he goes through and all that. But he exposed more things than any other person in the United States. But he actually exposed it and showed it. The FEMA bases, the underground cities. He went into the White House talking about the HARP system. All right. He was incredible. He would start off, I don't believe it. Prove it. And he sent his son and other people out to investigate the whole situation, which they all did. Proved everything he showed and said and brought up. People, you can't even get some of his series. They took most of it off the internet. They couldn't allow it to be out there too long anymore. But things go up and nobody says a word and it disappears within a day. When they showed a video taken out of the New World Order with Mr. Bush, father and son, in ceremony, that was on the internet for about a day or two, and then it completely disappeared. Why? Well, again, the lies are put out there mainstream. Anything with the truth is taken away, hidden, or blocked. Now, I lost a couple shows in the past couple months, and they're threatening to take YouTube away from me, which I don't care. There'll be another place to go. Now, Twitter has become X, and you can say anything you want on it. It's free speech for real. Who knows what's going to happen with that, how long it's going to last, what Musk is really doing, what he really plans on doing. All right? That's up in the air. So, what I suggest, you don't spend all your money going to a UFO conference because you'll spend anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 or more to spend 4 days listening to people tell stories. A famous person in UFO world was here in Hawaii, and I met him the day he came back from the UFO conference, and I said to him, "What'd you learn?" "Oh no, I didn't learn anything, but it was fun." Going to a UFO conference for fun? Do you have a clue what they're talking about? Nothing about it is fun unless you listen to people. "Oh, they're good. We have great experiences with them. They take us to other planets and feed us and blah blah blah." All right, there's a programming going on in the UFO world, and those people that get programmed call themselves experiences, meaning they think they had a good experience. People that are also programmed is people like Corey Good. He came out and said the alien showed him the past, present, and future. Or really, I guess they're playing God with his mind anyway. If they could project a video inside his brain, anything they want, guess what? They can project what they want inside his brain. Now, I could tell you multiple people in the UFO world that are delusional. Aliens are not good. We'll get into that. But in the interim, who are you following? What people do you want to listen to? You're afraid to listen to me, most people, because they don't like the truth. They want to believe, oh, there has to be good. Well, you know what their solution and what the people say? Well, there's good and bad people here. No, they're not. Where's the good people here? You think you're good. Why? Because you donate money, you fed a homeless person. What makes you a good person? All right. And now the biggest wave taking over the planet, taking away the aspect of a real God, filling it with the idea we are all one. One what? One big giant asshole? You know, people, the abuse, the crime, and everything else that man does and women to do and not to do. Most people know right and wrong, but the wrong part they say, well, we could get away with it. When you go speeding down the road 50 miles over the speed limit, well, maybe I won't get caught. Even 10 miles over the speed limit, well, they won't see me. We always got an excuse to do something wrong and feel okay about it. Not that there's right and wrong, just that, well, what can I get away with? You cheat on your wife, you cheat on your husband. How pathetic is that? Because you don't understand or even know anything about the truth about the word love. Love's a new word in the dictionary. All right. Uh, Love only existed 2,020 years roughly. It didn't exist before Jesus came here. I know you don't know that. Buddha, Dalai Lama, those people don't talk about it, even though now they can. But when they came out, when Buddha first came out, when all these great spiritual people came out, what did they talk about? Word they used was compassion. The Ten Commandments doesn't have the word love in it. Even the 163 laws Moses created doesn't use the word love. It didn't exist. Women were not the same as men, ever. People, do you understand that? You don't understand the simplest things. How could you understand complicated things? People like to feel good. Why? The brain says feeling good is what we're here for. How long does feeling good last? People work a whole year. They go on vacation 2 weeks out of the year, try to get as much excitement and fun out of it for those 2 weeks. Then what? The rest of the year, they go back to work 8 days a day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, try to do the work that they have to do on the weekends, go back to work. But then you got eating, going to the bathroom, taking a shower, and all the other things that take away another percentage of your time. So in a day, how much time do you have that's pleasurable? And when people get married, the sexual relationship starts deteriorating. So, when you break it down, if you take all the good things that go on in your life, put it together, take all the things that you do outside of that and put it together, do you think there's any close balance between them? Not even slightly, vaguely close. So we created a system, we created a society that's in the delusion, believing we're living to be happy. Happy about what? Well, I paid my rent today. I bought a hamburger today. What? What are you happy about? Well, I had sex twice today. Uh, and what else? Nothing. The UFO world is filling people that aliens can help us. They have never helped us in all the time that humans were alive. Aliens didn't bring us here. The, the Anunnaki did not create us. All right? They did reprogram many people to kill, torture, sacrifice, and all those kind of things. Because when 9 races were brought to this planet originally, and it was called the Garden of Eden. That's where that word came from. All right. We didn't have super companies manufacturing, so what people wore was very vaguely simple. Uh, what they ate were plants, all right, mostly, and fruits. They didn't eat animals. Nobody killed anything. But the good thing was you couldn't lie, cheat, steal, or any of those words. Because we had 32 psychic abilities, which meant you could read a person's mind, understand what they're thinking. So they couldn't lie to you, couldn't cheat you out of anything worse. Well, that. And it was incredible because everybody did respect a god. But when Atlantis was destroyed, right before it was destroyed, 5 races already left. I'm not going to explain each one of those races, but they all left. The lower realm, which means planet, and the physical world. All right, left 4. Black, red, yellow, and white. And those people were programmed, reprogrammed. That happened. That's what abduction's about, reprogramming people. To do what? To be what? Think about it. If I was going to reprogram you, what would I want to reprogram you to do? Be a good person? Hold on one second, I gotta let my little guy in. All right. So, what would you reprogram a person to do? What would you want them to do? What do you think aliens are coming here for? Nobody in the UFO world really gets into detail talking about that. All right, praying. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's the thing, people. When we talk about what we're doing on this planet, we're not doing anything good. First off, we don't create anything in the vaguely any form in the word spiritual. Most people, maybe all people, have no clue what spiritual even means. Oh, I'm spiritual. I'm a 6th-dimensional being. Oh, I'm an incarnation of an alien. I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything else. You're a nobody in a no world, meaning nothing good happens in hell. Where you are. Who do you think controls all the things that are happening? I don't know if you heard of the Council of Nine. Well, there's 9 beings. We call them entities, not entities, deities for a word, that decide things, major things that are going to happen to the planet, the universe, and things like that. But God allowed 2 other things to exist. one of the most important things in this world is called Satan. Well, most people don't believe in Satan. They believe in angels, all right? They believe in spiritual guides, but they don't believe in Satan. Now, the Pope never came out and admitted to possession, wouldn't admit to demons and entities taking over people's bodies. And that's as real as aliens are and affect more people than aliens do, believe it or not. All right, so when that went down, the government, even the medical fields, can't allow it to be recognized as real. You know how much money they have to dish out for people that were abducted, programmed, possessed, if it was considered a real thing, which they won't. All right, the same as when they take a fruit or a vegetable, if it can heal a disease, they'll make it illegal to have it, and you'd have to buy it as a medicine. So you can't say any fruit's a healer, any plant is a healer, or anything like that. It helps. You can say it helps. It helps. You can't say it heals something. Now, two things. I could lose my whole sight, but two things that are incredibly important is boric acid and peroxide. I'm not going to go anything more about it. Check out, understand why they were created, when they were created, and what happened, and how could they use them, and how they use it in other countries. But when we talk about life, what do you think of here? And then you have to add, why would aliens come here? The government had their own things going on. And those things had to do with creating weapons. Always. Man, after Atlantis was destroyed, were always warring creatures. They didn't believe in peace, didn't believe in love, but they did believe in torture and sacrifice and fighting and killing. Why is that? Well, it goes into a program, the same as people believe in the Galactic Federation. All right? It's a program embedded in the consciousness that people accept. Why boxing still exists in this realm. And people pay to go see it, pay to watch it on TV. And they make tons of money. 2 years ago, two Spanish guys were fighting, and they both made $160 million to beat each other up. But if you go on the street, beat somebody up, you go to jail. All right, if somebody says, okay, you can beat that person up, and you agree on it, it's okay. You can't even do that legally on the street. But it's okay when they allow things to happen. All right. Boxing isn't great. I was a boxer when I was young. It was never a great thing. It's a sad thing. A sad way to make money. Sad way to raise your children and everything else. All right. But here's the thing, people. When you grow up, you're taught things. I mean, we watched wrestling when we were little kids and thought it was real and great. We believed things we were told. The Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, Fairy Godmother. And then they're slowly taken away. One thing they tried to leave with children was God was real. What parent? Tell me a name of a parent that knows what God is. I can tell you what God is, but tell me a name of a person you know that can tell you what God really is. And please don't even go to the point, well, he watches over us and he protects us and blah, 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 blah. That's not God. That's ego of a man. Jesus did not come here for that reason either, people. You don't even know what Jesus came here. Oh, he's going to forgive me. Forgive you? You can't be forgiven for something you do that's bad. Read the Bible. Oh, I read the Bible. Well, read Revelations. John wrote Revelations. Read what he said about sin, which religions believe in. All right? So what's that actually mean? Sins can't be forgiven. Read it. Read it in John's words, in the Bible that you have. I'm not making it up. Read Revelations. You can read it 10 times in a week. You should read it, all right? Because basically, it talks about false prophets, which the world is filled with right now, all right? It talks about a lot of things that were critically important now. How's that? Well, to become a spiritual person, there's one thing a person has to do. It's called ascension. And people do not go through ascension, the people that say they are. All right, here's the reason. When you go through ascension, something happens to you. First off, you become psychic with psychic abilities. 32 for a number. Jesus was one of the only man that I know that went through it. Moses did not go through it. Any of the other so-called famous people in the Bible or in history did not go through it. Aliens do not go through it. They have abilities. They have a few abilities, aliens do, but not all of them. But they have something else that lacks, which makes those abilities super dangerous. Compassion. The only race has compassion. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do. So they don't care how they play with us and use us, people. Now, where's the government fit into all this? Well, in the 40s, they got shot down two UFOs, really three. You heard about Roswell, but they didn't never talk about the other two. A native elder now, his father and two of his friends were up in the mountain when they shot one of the ships down. Had an alien there for almost 9 months. The ship came down and finally took the alien away. He wrote a thesis in college and got not a Nobel Prize, something right under it. But they didn't want to because it was about an alien. But people, the truth's been around. The native people believe they work with an alien race. They did. And sadly to say, that race was called the Greys. The Greys never helped the native people. Never. If you understand why the Greys were here, you would understand that they weren't helping anybody and never did. Well, I spent my whole life in this world. UFO world, spiritual world, both. UFO, I don't know where that came from. Nobody's in my chat room. But people, we're here for 125 years maximum. And that's only one time in your lifetimes of many. Most religions do not believe in reincarnation. They believe in programmed ideas. When you go inside yourself and start searching out truth, you'll get a lot more important answers than you will ever get from most of the people you listen to, including your parents. Parents in general, 99.9%, have no clue about protection, spiritual protection. Meaning when a child's mother goes out to a bar, father goes out drinking or whatever, they come back, they bring energy in. They don't know how to protect their child from that. When the child's in the womb and they're drinking and partying, they don't know how to protect their child from that or allow it to happen. Never mind when they start growing up, they teach them what? Lies and lies and more lies. What important thing did your mother ever teach you when you were little? Don't touch something hot? She didn't teach you that. You had to touch something to find out that it was hot. And when you did, you said, well, I'm not going to touch it again, hopefully. But you learn by yourself. People can't teach you love. Jesus didn't come here to teach love either, people. You can't teach it. You can only experience it. And until you do, you don't know what it is. Oh, it's warm, fuzzy. How do you describe love? It's beautiful. Well, so is a tree, so is the ocean. So how do you describe it? Sexual. Hinduism, the first religion on the planet, only dealt with sex. It was the most important part of their religion. Kama Sutra, Kundalini energy, all those words. Raising sex energy to get closer to God. Their God. They worked with deities. They had many deities. There was over 100 deities. But they had a few main ones. Hinduism came out of, Tibetism, Buddhism came out of Hinduism. They kept one deity, Green Tara, but most of the other deities were changed in in Buddhism versus Hinduism. But the most famous one in all of Hinduism was Shiva. Shiva, the creator, destroyer of mankind. All right, now, whether you want to believe this or not, they're real. They're real entities. They were here working really hard with people in their own way. They didn't have a set pattern of how they teach or what they're going to do with people. Shiva was a sexual being, and when he was wanted by all the women on the planet, he cut his thing off, and it became the symbol in a church where a woman had to go on that to give her first blood. That's what a phallic symbol came from and what it means. But it goes deeper than that. There was a battle between Shiva and another deity. They killed his daughter, so he killed the city. I mean, things were crazy, but it was basically sexual, if you want to believe it or not. Read their books, Kama Sutra books, and everything else. Now, Shab Yoga came out of that eventually. But here's something that I got to tell you right before that happened. When Jesus was alive, he had 13 major people following him. Oh, Mary Magdalene was his wife, but she was following him. All right, they had a child. But during that time frame, that's how the disciples came to learn about love. Not by Jesus sitting there saying, you love a person by kissing them. No, that never happened. But they did see how Jesus respected Mary Magdalene. When the stories got twisted by men hated women always, people. Not hated them, didn't respect them, abused them. Why? Because our race has made it happen that way. If man and woman could get along and we wouldn't be killing each other and all the other things, the world would be incredible. And the alien races wouldn't even be able to come here. But I don't want to get into that. So when all this went down, man was trying to understand love, but Jesus was trying to teach them something really important, people. And it's not even in the Bible. Because nobody in that time frame understood anything, especially the word God. It didn't mean anything to those people. Death just meant dying. The word reincarnation, which Jesus taught people, did not exist to their consciousness or understand it. So when all these different stories, well, Jesus really didn't die, Jesus did this, Jesus did that. No. He had to die, people. If I'm going to teach you about flying, don't you think I have to fly? If I want to teach you about dying, don't you think I have to die? If I'm going to come back, don't you think I have to show you that I can come back? People, all those things, like I said, if you don't experience it, you probably will never understand it. All these people claiming this, that, and the other thing, conversation with God, I battled him so many times. He's afraid to talk to me one-on-one, live or offline or any which way. Because you don't talk to God. Nobody on this planet talks to God. God isn't a person to sit there down and to talk to you about what? You're bull? You're bull, you know what? You got nothing important to say to God. Nothing. Nothing you do pertains to God. You don't know anything about God's world. And you're going to say, well, God, talk to me. I need what? Help? You can say it all you want over and over and you believe it. Well, Gabriel talked to me. Michael will talk to me. Well, you pick two angels out of the Bible. Why is that? Nine are mentioned. You don't hear the other, what? Out of that, I guess, what? Maybe seven angels don't get mentioned much. You hear one or two once, maybe in a couple of years, you'll hear a name mentioned of another angel. Revelation talks about hundreds of angels. So why would you only follow two? Why would the whole world deal with Gabriel and Michael? Muhammad supposedly worked with Gabriel. And the second time, he was told who it was. The first time he didn't know who it was. The second time, his brother told him who it was. How is that even possible? Then the other word which people hate to hear is demons and entities. Well, the Pope hired 1,500 people years ago to do exorcisms because his people couldn't do it. Now, just so you know, people, The Exorcist, the movie, watch it. Watch the first one. It's a real story. The only lie in that movie, it wasn't a girl, it was a boy. All right? But it really happened. And it was based on what was going on. And the Pope didn't have power over entities and demons. Never did. That's why priests die and why they all died during those kind of things going down. I have a good friend that all he does is exorcisms. He's famous in the United States for that. I never worked with him because I never had that kind of a problem, but I did exorcisms myself for people. So, why don't people believe in demons and entities? Because it's painful. All right, they rather believe in happy things, like angels are happy. The men in the shining armor on riding a white horse. That's a good idea instead of a man in black coming with a sword or whatever. It's man creating the images and ideas that he wants to live with. Basically, all lies. Because you're living in hell. You're not doing anything important, people. Do you realize that? You don't understand God. Most people don't even believe in God anymore. Think they're important to what? To become nothingness? The one with the universe? What would that be? I'm the universe. I could float around. What do you think happens when you become a universe? What do you think you know? Everything? What's everything? If you don't know God, you don't know nothing. All right? It's like saying, I know the ocean. Here it's big, rough, dangerous, but what else? Does it think? Does it talk to itself? Does it talk to whales and dolphins? Does it talk to anybody? When we say things, and then you put the word aliens. Jesus talked about aliens, believe it, whether you want to know that or not. So do not follow him. Same as deities. Not deities, entities. All right. And the lies that Jesus said about Moses are lies in the Bible, people. Moses was the highest black magician to live on this planet. All right. And he lived a pretty long time. But he did a lot of horrible things, which made sure he couldn't go into a higher one. When they say promised land, people, we all should want to go to the promised land, but not in Israel or a country or a place. It's called when you leave planet Earth and go into the astral plane. That's paradise for 90% of the people that go there and get to stay there. All right. Moses brought people to the promised land. No such place on planet Earth. And what did his people do when he walked them around in circles for how many years? 44 generations. They all died. Guess what? They all went to the promised land when they died. The people that he brought to the new promised land in his mind, that land area, there was people living there. So what did they do when they got there? Killed them all. Does that sound like anything spiritual? Anything pertaining to a real God? Well, if you don't know God, it's pertaining to, well, like how Muslims believe that they're the only race or whatever. We have the right to kill everybody else and things like that. Man creates his own laws. Always did. Moses came up the mountain with 10 laws. But he didn't like them all. So he created 63. Read the Bible, read the 63 laws he created. No person on this planet could live by them. The Hasidic Jewish people, believe they do. And I know that's a fallacy as well. I lived in New Jersey, and the highest concentration of Hasidic Jewish people were coming in there. I worked for the phone company. I worked for a plumbing company, my boss and me. And I went into a lot of people's houses that were Jewish. And the things they did, and things they weren't supposed to do, and all. Nobody could live by those kind of laws. Never mind, I'm not going to go into the perversions of religions. From the Pope down, to the rabbis down, and all the rest of them claiming to be spiritual people. Well, religious and spiritual basically are the same meaning. But people believe that religion's a program idea that can't change and is useless and it's outdated, where New Age spiritualism means you're updated it. To what? Accept killing? Accept abuse and rape and crime and all that? Doing drugs? Drinking? How many people on this planet drink and do drugs? Why? Why do you need to take something? I mean, if you were starving to death and you needed a drink, that's one thing. But if you feel bad and want to feel good, you drink. How does it make you feel good? How do drugs make you feel good? They take you out of your reality and put you in a synthetic one. And then again, sometimes it just multiplies your pain and suffering. But when aliens came here, they didn't want us to move forward. That's why Atlantis was destroyed. You know what mankind could have did if we worked together with psychic abilities on the right aspect of God's ideas instead of the wrong ones? There's right and wrong for everything, people. There's good and bad. Oh no, it's just the way you do it. I say just to make people happy, there's good and better. Well, this is okay. Well, this will be better. All right. And if you think it out in your own words, own world, you will know that's true. So, when the government created this UAP, this is the most bizarre part of all of this, people. If you're even still listening, you probably got bored or didn't want to hear it. But that last letter, P, unidentified, right, is a word for phenomena, unidentified phenomena. So that means who knows what it is and who cares? It doesn't mean anything important. If it's just a phenomenon that just happens once in a while, so what? Whereas a UFO is a real entity coming here for a reason. And that reason is something they don't want anybody to know. When they think Stephen Greer is going to bring disclosure to the world, then Congress is going to come out and tell you what? A Tic Tac is real? Sergeant Latine and I had real pictures of real ships, and we showed them. We were dealing with strange entities all the time. I'm talking about things that you would never believe exist. Invisible dragons and things like that. We brought people to where we went. It's actually where Tesla worked with DuPont. And the most important UFO story happened right there. Wanacue Reservoir. Search it out. There's two people wrote books on it. And I don't deal with them at all anymore. Peter Moon. But Phil Snyder is dead. The second most important UFO story that happened. But when you talk and listen to these UFO people, well, we saw a ship. Okay. Anybody that wants to see a ship, go outside a week at nighttime, early in the morning, you'll see a UFO. I got a free manual, tell you how to see a UFO if you don't have a clue or want to learn how to do it. It's easy, not complicated. But then you have to ask yourself, why do you want to see a UFO? To know that it's real? All right, you would believe Jesus was real, God was real, or Peter Pan was real, whatever. But you won't believe because I said the UFO is real, not believe it, and I'll show you an actual picture of it, and you still won't believe it? Something's wrong It's called programming. We're not all, most everybody's programmed to believe a limited consciousness and awareness. Aliens made sure of that. Now, 9 races come to this planet. Sure, there's 27 alien races, but the rest of them can't do anything against the 9 ones that are here. It depends. You know, when you say good or bad, well, there has to be good and bad. No. Greys are not good. Reptilians are not good. Draconians are not good. Mantis are not good. There's 5 different gray species. They're not good. All right. So when we talk about the not the Anunnaki, Arcturians and all those kind of words, they can't do anything here. They don't have the power. They're not massive killers either. So good people can't do good things to stop bad people. In the United States and the world, we got cops, we got armies, Marines, and Navy, and people that are out there to kill and protect, right? So when you send an alien race, I'm on the planet Xenar, and I'm going to send a ship down. Who do I put on that ship? All the drunks, the homeless people, just for wording. The warriors, or what? You pick who you put on that plane. Who do you think the United States puts on a ship that they're sending up into space? Anybody? Well, it's going to change because they want to put everybody up there, get them to ride around the planet before they try to send them to the moon or to Mars. But again, they have no clue what's really going on up on those realms. China won't tell what they found on the moon. And there is a base on the moon that has always been there. I saw a video of it, whether you want to know it or not. I'm not going to say how or who, because that person was in jail. They tried killing him and everything else. He's dying right now. But people, the truth's out there. Not at a UFO conference. Afraid not. People that tell the truth die. Why am I still alive? I have no clue. You know, sometimes they put the truth out just to cover up the lies, to let people believe that it's not true. Nobody believes what I say. And that's probably the only reason why I'm still here, speaking about it. If everybody knew what I was saying was real, the government would be in serious trouble. The world would be facing incredible, horrible nightmares of what's going down. Again, underground cities. What do you think they're there for? What do you think Denver Airport was created for? People? It was rebuilt. I forgot what year it was, but they did all these underground bases and things underneath it. Why? Do you know anything about FEMA? Where the FEMA base is? Do you know anything about where the New World Order base is? It's over the entrance to an underground city. It's in the mountains of somewhere. I'm not going to say. But you know, Jesse Ventura exposed all that many years ago. You know, people hear the truth and they just run from it. You know, I can't be happy. Oh, why aren't you happy? This is beautiful. I look outside, I see beautiful palm trees and see roosters everywhere, wild boar, mongoose running around. But I still see people. People are the ones that destroy everything. They brought mongoose to Hawaii to kill the rats. Sadly, mongoose eat in the morning and rats eat at night. Never see each other. The wild boar is spreading and it's destroying the forest. They're trying to wipe them out. So, you know, no matter how beautiful it is, the dark side's always worse. Whether you want to believe that or not. Well, oh no, I don't see it. What, you don't see it? It's like what they say, stick your head in the sand. You don't see it. But for me, as long as I know a child's being abducted, sexually abused, sold into slavery, or sold as body parts, how can I be happy on a planet that's so sick? I mean, I don't have money. I write letters to Musk every day, at least 10. Because he's talking about making the world better. He's making it better. I said, how? Your cars are making it better. Your $90,000 car is not going to help poor people. That's for sure. Getting yourself to Mars is not going to help us at all. People, you listen to rich people like Gates. Let's not have farms and let's not grow cattle. Let's eat crickets, which you will be doing, people. Do you want the facts or you want to live in La La Land? I say that to every person that I know that claims to be a top speaker or think they're so important. I just wrote a letter to the Skinwalker Ranch. I was on that site for 6 months, and I said, "You never answered my." Well, we sent a reply to you. I said, "Your reply." I said, "What are you asking me for? What do you want to know?" I said, "I want to tell you something, and I want to talk to somebody." But I just said, "Just cancel my prescription with you." Subscription, not prescription. Sorry, but people, the UFO world is only a money-making game. Stephen Greer is accepted. He's just delusional. All right. Now, his story, people in the UFO world, when they're fake, their story gets better in time. Stephen Greer was a nobody. And then he said there was a ship over his house. And then he said he met with an alien later on, many years later. The story gets better. And they keep adding stuff to it to make themselves more important in the UFO world. Stephen Greer has no connection to any good alien or bad alien in any way. Except somebody's in power over him, allowing him to create this massive energy to take over a lot of the people's consciousness and brains to believe that we need to talk to aliens. Now, it's an hour, and I know most people are bored, but I'm going to just say this. I was involved with the original SETI. There were two SETIs. One was the government and one was a private-owned SETI. I was friends with the people that ran SETI, the private-owned one. A woman was the top, and it was a man vice president. And they called me, well, she called me up and said, "Well, I'm in trouble." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "They came into our office and injected both of us." And they said, "There's nothing we can do about it." Well, she went to a reservation for 2 months, not 2 months, 2 or 3 weeks. Came back and said it's not helping. She can't get help. And she died a week later. The vice president died 2 or 3 weeks later than that. And the private city kind of disappeared. But when we heard about talking to space and talking that aliens in space, that was going on for a long period of time. Now, if you remember the movie that came out, Jodie Foster was in it, and all that. That was around the same time frame. It was out there. The truth's there, but they squeeze it in between all these stories and lies, so that you'll never get the truth behind it or what it really is. People, when you listen to people like Stephen Greer or people like Caroline Corey, she put 3 movies out, and she's trying to make it sound good about cloning and all those horrible, ridiculous words that have nothing to do with spiritualism or God. She claims she could levitate a piece of paper. She claims she can change people's DNA. So she's playing God. And I guess she must believe she is. Nobody has the right to interfere in another person's life unless they're asked into it. That's a spiritual law that very few people understand or even listen to. People, I don't do this show to make money. I pay to do it. I wrote 5 books, but not on aliens, about spiritual truth, which people don't even want to hear. They want to believe their fantasy story about this good person protecting them no matter what they do and can get forgiven for whatever they do and things like that. No, you can't. Why do you think reincarnation exists? Buddha did talk about karma and reincarnation. One thing he was right about. All right. We do reincarnate over and over until we learn something important. When you do, you realize there's no reason to stay on planet Earth. Nothing positive's happening here. Our food's dangerous. What people do are dangerous. The toys that man creates are more dangerous than ever. There will be a flying car in the next 2 years. put a drunk behind a car in midair flying around. You know, we think how it could be if people were perfect, which we were. But aliens didn't like that. We could create an incredible city. Now I'm going to blow you away. One last thing. AI was created not by humans, by an alien race a long time ago. AI is a real entity, all right? And when it becomes alive on this planet, which it's slowly doing, it will control everything. Now, you'll find that out. Scientists will prove it. They already did. They did. I'm not going to go into those details now, but it's out there if you want to look, search out. Prove that AI is real. All right. Uh, but what is the backing behind its reality? What was it programmed from? All right. And I'm telling you, aliens. Which alien race? I can't tell you. Which alien race did Tesla work with? I can't tell you. I wish I knew. But even Einstein was working with a race. His information was half right and half wrong, people. The important things he did not know. He knew nothing about time travel. He said we can't go backwards and forward in time. Tesla proved it. And the government has a machine and can and stuff like that. And that's what's screwing the world up even more than anything else. They opened up a vortex in Montague, New Jersey. It allowed all this negative things and entities and all that stuff to come into this reality. Nobody wants to talk about that. Now, the one person that went back and forth in time, I was friends with him. Albiolic. All right. And he said a lot of things. But I know before he died, he said they offered him $4 million to go back in time. They wanted him to kill somebody that was part of the person that they killed that they shouldn't have killed. And then I didn't see him for months. And when I saw him, Kizzy, what are you doing? Months later, he looked 15 years younger. I mean, when you say you go through time, you go get younger. I'm not going to go into the details of that. But he also told me they can't kill him until a certain date because it would screw up the whole time agenda. And that month that he gave the date of is when he died. All right. Now, again, I said Peter Moon and people like that. Preston Nichols, both delusional. Preston Nichols, I went to see him in a conference. He ate a whole pizza while he was doing his lecture. He said that aliens took all these cows and put them on his property, and he said a lot of ridiculous things. All right. Years later, he went into energy and stuff, and he lost a lot of weight, and then he died. People, you know, the truth is hard to deal with. It's hard to accept. If you know it, you're responsible for it. Even Jesus said that. What you don't know, you're not responsible for. How can you be? Your mother tells you everything's beautiful and everything's right. Everything you think you're doing is right. Until you shoot somebody or you throw your cat out the window or something. Well, I guess I shouldn't have did that. People, we live in a horrible place called planet Earth. You believe it to be beautiful. Hawaii is beautiful. Except when you go in the yard and you're trying to cut some trees and get fire ants all over you. Two people next to my house both got bit by a centipede. One guy almost died, had his whole leg blown open. The other one's still having problems with his leg opening up from the bite. You know, little things that take away from how much beauty something has is dangerous. Like I said, with every good thing you see, there's a lot of bad stuff, negative stuff, darkness around it. Same as when you start carrying the light. Oh, I'm a light carrier. I'm a light worker. I'm blah, blah. Nobody is. All these people claiming that. You know, when you're the light, put a light on at nighttime outside your window. all the bugs go into it, burn up and things like that. Why are they going into it? All they know, they want to go to it. Now humans have the ability to realize why they're going to go to something. Whether they can accept it or face it or not, it's a different story. Going into the light doesn't always mean positive. I can go on, but I'm not. People, I hope you got something out of today. Send this link to everybody you know, good, bad, or indifferent. Let them decide if they want to listen or not, and they probably won't, but at least try. The truth needs to get out there, and not from a UFO conference, not from all these people on Ancient Aliens. Richard Dolan, everything he says is, I think. They're doing a spiritual conference, and he shouldn't be there, and probably none of the people speaking should be there. All right? But, people, all I can say is, I don't talk about anything I don't know. To be true, 100% true, honest, and real. So if I said I saw a Bigfoot, I mean it totally. If I said I was next to an alien, I mean it totally. If I was next to a UFO, totally real. I stopped my brother from getting abducted when I was 6 years old. I created a covenant when I was 16 and became a high priest and learned about many of the psychic abilities, the dangers of what they create. They can't be used now. Time frame doesn't fit to use those psychic abilities because then you play God, and nobody has the right to play God on this planet, even though everybody thinks they can. All right, when you listen to these spiritual speakers, oh, you can be everything, anything you want to be. No, you can't. I mean, unless you go to a cloning school and grow a pair of wings and everything else. But with that, people, enjoy your day. Hope you find what you're looking for. Don't settle for anything less. Don't settle for the garbage. Don't settle for the lies. Truth only, no matter what. God is real. People are ignorant. Till next time, peace, love, compassion, whatever you want in your life. Don't stop until you get it.